T-minus 1 minute. T-minus 50 seconds. T-minus 40 seconds. T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Own it, own it, own it, Kong. I own it. It did.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.
That is right, you guys. Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. And of course, we are here, the Salt Shakers. And, you know, Tuesday nights are a little different. We don't break down a specific wrestling show. What we do here is we talk about Miz and Mrs. We are on episode 4 tonight, so we will get into everything that happened. You know, the episodes are a little short, but we find a way to, you know, get a whole hour in of stuff, because just like this episode, there was so much going on. Santana, did you enjoy tonight's episode? Well, yesterday's episode?
Yeah, I really did. I feel like this episode was a lot special in regards to, especially with the whole thing with Barb, and you know, and even we finally found out what the hell happened to with the holes in them.
I still cannot believe. I really thought that was going to be the basis of the episode tonight. It actually turned out that that's where we really started. So, of course, the episode jumps off, and Miz is looking for his lucky underpants, as he calls them. Not underwear, not drawers, underpants. And for some odd reason, I personally thought that Maryse was the one. But we later find out that it was actually Barb who throws the drawers in the garbage. Now, before we get into all the shenanigans with the underpants, the show kicks off and we see Miz in the bottom 2. Now, we know how that all ends. And, you know, he really bragged on JoJo. Of course, JoJo started with Dance Moms, and then she, you know, really turned into a megastar. She's professionally trained in dancing, and she's actually, if I'm not mistaken, one of the first dancers on Dancing with the Stars to have a partner who is of the same gender. So that was very interesting to see. Of course, the judges decided to save JoJo. So I gotta ask, do you think that Miz would have went further if he would have actually had on those lucky pants, underpants?
I mean, it just kind of has me wondering, like, has he had those lucky underpants on since the beginning?
He said he had.
Wow. So then the one time he doesn't wear them, he gets sent home.
He said this was the one time that he
did not
wear them.
You know, it could be the reason why he was kind of, you know, going along and whatnot.
Now, what's funny to me is Barb threw them away,
Mm-hmm.
And Barb also was not able to, we weren't able to see her video package on Dancing with the Stars. And of course, we'll get into that a little later. But it's coincidental that the person who took away the look actually wasn't even the package that she prepared and they prepared, and ABC prepared for Dancing with the Stars for the Miz wasn't shown. It was actually his dad, George. His package was shown, and then Barb's package was actually scheduled for the next week, which, I mean, we see from Whitney that Miz was a big influence. And honestly, he was a top contender to go along and win. And it's crazy that tonight's episode turned into a pity party.
It did.
It really did. Or did it?
Because, you know,
Because,
I mean, the way that Miz was acting on one side,
I think I would have did the same thing.
You would have done what the Miz was and then get caught.
I would have actually, like, from the pancakes to the bacon to the hash, like, she was cooking it up in the kitchen for her man. And I really enjoyed that. And I don't know if I kind of felt Miz. Like, I understood. He said something at the end that we'll get to. Of course, y'all already know how I do. I got my notes here. I wrote my notes per usual. I got to the back and realized that this was, I work at a hotel and we use scrap paper. I did. I used the hotel. Hey, listen, if y'all gonna keep me there late,
I'm going to get you a notebook.
For this
I'm going to get you a notebook for this show.
I really do. It's really awful. I have a notebook actually sitting over there that I just I was cleaning out my apartment and I used it for my journal, but I didn't even do it. Joseph says it helped that he had Whitney Carson as his partner. Whitney won Circle 18 with Alfonso, who is also known as Carlton Banks. Jesus, Joseph, you are a encyclopedia. When I tell you, because you be knowing everything. But those pancakes, man, I'm not even a pancake person.
I love pancakes.
But, oh my goodness.
I would eat the hell out of some damn pancakes, sausage. Like,
I'm more of a waffle.
I like waffles too, but it's just something about pancakes. See, like, I would get full off pancakes before I get full off a waffle.
Really? See, it only takes me one good waffle from Waffle House.
Well, see, I don't eat Waffle House, so
That's true.
I wouldn't know.
And if you know anything, I don't know about you guys, but if you eat Waffle House and you do the All-Star, I always take my waffle to the end. So when I saw Miz chowing down on the pancakes first, I was like, you're doing it a little wrong, sir. Like, you need to get the meat in and get the bacon in and get the hash in first. Like, get the sausage in.
We're going straight there first.
I hate it.
Like it was a side. Like he really treated like everything else was a side dish, and then this right here was like the main thing. So he's gonna eat this first, and then he's gonna go around and pick on his sides.
I wonder what her motive was in getting him so full. Like, I really want to know, like, because she was like serving it up.
Because he was walking around like he was just so sad and upset at the fact that he was sent home over JoJo, and come to find out he was never sad.
Now we'll get listen. Listen,
and we found out exactly what they did to Miz because he lied.
He did, because he did his own confessional, and he says that he was utterly relieved. Relieved. And what's crazy is I thought Miz was like super competitive, and we saw that last week, him and Ryan betting and doing all this. And so when he says that he was relieved, I'm like, what? Like, you didn't want to win?
I don't know. I think he really enjoyed himself being on the show and whatnot. But it's stressful being on Dance with the Stars. There's a lot of preparation. You learning new dance moves every week. You know what I'm saying? You gotta make sure that you can remember the whole dance routine that you learn within those days and weeks and times you have. You gotta worry about your costumes. What you gonna wear this week? Is it gonna fit? Is it gonna look right? What we're gonna do that's gonna be bigger than next week. You gotta worry about getting critique from people who are watching at home. You gotta worry about if you're gonna make it past the next round with the judges. Like you just never really know, and it's like it seems like that's just a lot that you kind of have to go through when you're on these type of shows.
I'm not gonna lie. If the Salt Shakers are ever asked to be on Dancing with the Stars, I'm gonna turn it down.
I'm gonna go.
I think you would be the best representation. Not personally, like the capacity of work that you have to do.
And
It's
Nikki's
just
very competitive too, though. So
I'm extremely.
I think if Nikki gets sent home,
Uh,
there's the end of Dancing with the Stars.
I would go and represent us on something like The Challenge or Real World or something like where Miz started. Honestly, like I would kill comps on Big Brother. Like I probably wouldn't do Survivor because I feel like with the whole food I'm already skin and bones, so I wouldn't want to come back.
And skin and everything.
But I'm very competitive. I'm extremely competitive, and when it comes to dancing, I've had some dancing in my younger days. I did plays and all this other stuff, but I don't think I could do Dancing with the Stars. That's not something that I would. I don't know. I think that I honestly think you would go out and kill it. Honestly, like.
I did montage in college. I did. I know how to tap dance. I hate fucking ballet.
Yeah.
I hate ballet, but it's great for your flexibility.
Kenya Moore, she was on this season too, right?
Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
I didn't see her at all, but she was definitely on here for that season.
Now, what else are you trained in?
Okay, so it's tap, jazz, hip hop, contemporary, modern, and acrobats.
Wow.
So it's like 16s. It would be 7 if I had did ballet, but I was like, nah, ballet is not my cup of tea or whatever. I think ballet is beautiful. I think there's so many different ways that comes with ballet. It's just a simple fact that I don't want to mess up my feet. I don't want to. It's hard with ballet. Like you really have to start out like as a kid and then work your way up to be comfortable and realize and understand the techniques that go into ballet. Standing literally on the point of your toes, it's not great. It's not great at all. It's awful having to stand up that way. Honestly, like I shout out to those who can do ballet. I'm just say shout out to you guys. Because for me, I hated ballet. I would never do ballet ever again. I would never even want to be a part of ballet. But shout out to those who've done ballet before. For me,
I say Nikki Bella. I say Bella twins in my internet goes out.
That's what happened. She left them where they were.
But I wouldn't take the position, honestly. I don't know. I would say no. But I'm very happy that Miz decided to join this show with Dancing with the Stars. I think he did a phenomenal job. And I think we saw a different side of Miz that we just haven't seen before. But moving right along, there's nothing like when your mother cooks your favorite dish, right? And Miz goes and sees his mom, and we find out that the package that Barb prepared with ABC and Dancing with the Stars will actually not be, we won't be able to see it, of course, because he was eliminated, unfortunately. And it's a very heartfelt moment that we see with Barb. She tears up, and once again, Miz is chowing down. It looked like country fried chicken. I'm not sure. It had a little gravy
It was
on
all
it.
chowing down over there. I mean, George's face looked like he was smothered in feces and all.
It was crazy. I mean,
it looked very messy. I will say that.
And they, and Miz just lets her know, that she's special to him, and if it wasn't for her, he wouldn't be in this position. And he comes up with, he starts, she starts to feel bad. Mm-hmm. And she says that she just wants to give him the world. And it was really amazing to see. And as he's chowing down on his food, talking to his mom and everything, he wants to come up with a great idea. Mm-hmm. And he wants to do a package for her. And we'll get into that a little later. However, Ryan is back this week. Mm-hmm. They meet, they have some beers, they chop it up, of course they cheer, and Ryan, Miz tells Ryan that he breaks the truth to him. Mm-hmm. He tells him how he really feels. And sometimes we see that, sometimes we aren't as open about our feelings to our partners as we are to our friends. We find a sense of confidence in our friends sometimes to tell them certain things of how we feel. And, he breaks his silence. He tells him that he's actually, he's relieved. But he also tells in his confessional a sign of manipulation. There's, he feels like, well, why would I open up, or why would I spill the beans if who doesn't want this treatment? It's almost like a pity party, almost, of course. But before we find out that Ryan actually went back and pillow talked with Alexa Bliss, of course, Miz gets home from having the outing with Ryan to a really nice surprise. I'm sure he would agree with that. He is just about to tell Maryse how he feels and what's really going on. And then he walks in the room, and Maryse is just in this, crazy teacher's outfit. The sexy teacher. Like, how can you, how is he supposed to break the news, honestly?
How can you tell her? Let's be honest.
Honestly, Joseph thinks that Mike is a stubborn man. He knows Maryse knows that he is happy to be done. He is acting like he is going to laugh his way to the bank. Mm-hmm. No pun intended, Money in the Bank is coming up too. So that's perfect. Look at the way he was looking at her, honestly, even before this, he says that he won without even winning Dancing with the Stars. He has the woman of his dreams. Mm-hmm. But, they do their grown folks thing, and Miz turns around and he tells the cameraman to get out,
Yeah, get out.
Get out. You got to go.
Yeah, I got to go now. Right now.
Right now. Now, we saw Maryse later on get a surprising phone call from, of course, one of her good friends now, Alexa Bliss, former SmackDown and Raw Women's Champion as well, who will also be competing in the Money in the Bank. She is a former Money in the Bank winner as well, successfully cashing in on Nia Jax to becoming Raw Women's Champion again. And she's also, from my understanding, the first woman to hold both of those titles. So she's had a lot of accolades in WWE. Maryse picks up the phone, and Bliss invites them to the engagement party. And there's something else that she reveals.
Mm-hmm.
Maryse goes on and says, "Oh, Miz has been so just distraught." And Bliss was like, "That's not what Ryan said."
Mm-hmm.
And now we find out that Ryan decides to spill the beans and tell everyone, including Maryse, that Miz is lying the whole time. Now, a fun fact for those that don't know, because I'm actually new to watching this show, back to back like this, it was Miz who actually introduced Ryan and Bliss together. So it's kind of like, it's family. It's all in the family, right? Well, Ryan spilled the tea to Bliss, doing some little pillow talking. And, before Maryse gets off that phone, she says that Karma's a bitch.
She did.
What did you think about this? Would you have done the same thing?
I would have, because why would you lie to me? Like, over something like this, like, it's why lie though? And then you go tell your friend as if your friend isn't with my friend, and as if my friend isn't going to tell me. That doesn't make any sense. Like, why would you do that? You know what I'm saying? You could have just blatantly came out and said, listen, I am thrilled to finally be done so I can be at home with you guys and things like that. But to really just lie and say that, I think it's the fact that he was enjoying the treatment that he was getting.
Yeah, he definitely was.
Ryan, listen, if you wanted to go rob a bank, don't tell Ryan, because he's telling everything.
Everything.
He doesn't know how to shut up. He's like, just don't tell Ryan nothing. If you have a friend named Ryan that's like that, Ryan, don't tell nobody. Please. I do have, my mentee name is Ryan, but she spelled her name differently. But don't be that Ryan.
Please don't, because child, it's gonna be awful.
Ryan will get you beat up in the street somewhere because he talked too damn much. I think Miz was enjoying the treatment. That's what I think he was. Yeah. I think he was enjoying the treatment of people trying to figure out if he's really sad, if he's really upset. He's had all these different things, like getting breakfast cooked for him, his mom making his favorite food, and he just really enjoyed getting that attention. Such a Libra. Love getting that attention, and boom, Libras.
Now, as we spoke before, Miz did want, he had a plan, and he wanted to do something really special for his mom. And during this time, I think Maryse really tapped back into her character. She played him like a fiddle, of course, and we'll get into, that little prank that she did towards the end. But, Miz gets George and all of the kids and even Maryse as well to do a video package for Barb's. And honestly, I thought it honestly was the sweetest thing. We got to see Grandma Dixie as well. And honestly, Maryse still played the part the whole time. She didn't want to ruin this for the Miz. She kind of wanted him to gloat. And even still in the confessionals, even though she knew the news from Bliss and Ryan, honestly, she still played her part. And we see the package. It was a beautiful package, honestly. We also saw some of the clips from what the package was going to actually look like. And then we see some added things. Ooh, excuse me. We see some added things as well. The sweetest part, honestly, for me, was when Miz asked Barb's for one more dance, and then George was like, "What about me?" George is always having to make it about him. He's already had his spotlight. Of course, y'all know what I'm talking about. When he was trying to go after Miz's opponent at that time. And who was it? AJ Styles?
Girl, yeah.
Okay, that's what I figured. He was really trying to have his moment. And of course, tonight he was also trying to have his moment as well. They played the package, And you just see this lovely, I mean, honestly, it was amazing. It was amazing to see. And
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was beautiful because you really just get to see like how much of a saving grace that Barb is to this family. Like, you know, I mean, she's so loved by everybody. Like, I mean, of course, George, he's just an asshole. So he really is. It's always me. What about me? What about me? I think his dad might be a Scorpio. But it's always about me. Like, where's gonna be my attention? Like, when am I gonna get it? You know, so it's just you gotta stop, George. Come on now. Yeah. He knows that Barb is a fan favorite.
Yeah, she is, and she's so humble.
She is. She's a sweetheart. I'll fight anybody for Barb.
It was good to see.
It was a hardcore rules match when Daddy Miz had his 15.
Oh, that's right. It was Shane.
I was one of them.
I couldn't think.
Girl.
I don't know why I thought they had a run-in with AJ Styles too. It's crazy. But yeah, we got to see the package, and I thought what Miz did was really amazing, honestly. But I know for a fact that Maryse was just sitting there in the back of her mind, waiting for the opportunity to get her revenge back. And obviously she needed to pull in some reinforcements. And of course we get, towards the end of the show, right? And before we get into that, Joseph says, LOL, I'm surprised Mike hasn't kicked out his dad. He was pissed last week when Barb tried to help out Maryse at home when Maryse had her business meeting. Listen, the business meeting was a spa. Okay, Maryse needed to do what she had to do. And, going back to last week's episode, Barb was very understanding. And she says that this is something that she honestly loves to do. She loves to put a smile on their face. She loves to help. And Barb is really becoming the star of this season. We also saw
Marjo came back this week. Got to see her chilling and everything on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't make no noise this week. She was a little quiet this week. I guess she didn't have much to say. She kind of just be chilling a little bit, but
just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. It's good to see the family inclusion, though. I mean, we saw George's package. Mm-hmm. I love how, though, George said things about, said just enough about Barb, and then was like, okay, I can't do this. I'm going to the casino. But Miz cut just enough for the package. And, of course, the grandbabies, they just love Barb, and they're happy. And it seemed like Barb was very, very happy. But Maryse needed to get her happiness as well. Pulling this prank. Now, I did not know this is the direction that we were going into. I thought that it would be a little different, honestly. I thought that they were going to... I didn't know what she was going to do, honestly. I thought that she was going to maybe throw a pie in his face, maybe do something I don't know. What did you think? What did you think the prank was gonna be? Did you have any ideas?
I honestly thought it was for real. I really thought that maybe they were gonna do an all-star thing and bring him back and stuff like that. But then I realized it's no, this was a way to. I thought maybe she was going to kind of constantly ask him what's going on, you sure you're okay, and everything like that of that nature, or even bring Ryan and Alexa over, somehow, some way, and include them and be so Miz, how's everything going? I'm still so sad, depressed. And then Ryan, well, I thought you was happy, bro. Remember when you told me you was like you're glad that you're done, and then it's boom. put on the spot.
I thought she was I thought she wasn't gonna get him back.
You saw how her facial expression was all through the confessional. She was dropping hints in the confessional next to him.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, the way she was acting,
trying to get him to spill.
But it's just like I don't think he was catching on, to be honest. So I was just like, right, okay, I got some for you.
He was looking like, what does she know that I don't know, or what does she know that I don't see?
I think he did not see this coming. Pause at all whatsoever. He did.
And of course, we end the show with Whitney and her husband, who Whitney actually was his partner. Mm-hmm. I found it very interesting that she said that the only place that they go is Cracker Barrel. I thought that was that's her husband's favorite spot. They brought up the hash brown casserole. If you know anything about Cracker Barrel, honestly, I mean, good food, but I'm not going to lie to you. Like when you walk in Cracker Barrel, it just screams slavery to me. Like, I'm going to be honest. Like, I just never felt like I belonged in that place. I
should not be laughing at this.
It does. It really does. If you ask, I'm pretty sure Black Twitter probably is going to eat this up. But honestly, Cracker Barrel is just, it's very interesting. And I know a few, I'm not going to say any names, but I know a few couples in wrestling that it's also their favorite spot too. Some of them actually left Nashville. And before they left Nashville, they went to Cracker Barrel. And I'm pretty sure hash brown casserole was on the menu. I actually had cousins that actually worked at Cracker Barrel. And some crazy stories about Cracker Barrel. But I thought that was so funny. Honestly, I thought it was crazy how that was the one restaurant that she said. But they're sitting down, they're having dinner. And, Whitney pitches this amazing idea that I also thought sent in. I thought it was real, too.
Yeah.
Because they do have All-Stars. They have tours. Mm-hmm. They Dance with the Stars is such a big production still to this day. So they do stuff like that. So I personally thought that it was real. She calls up one of the producers, and we later find out that it's all shits and giggles. And that Maryse actually got him back after all that time that she elapsed and she didn't say anything. I thought it was actually perfect because not only did she prank Miz, she really pranked all of us. Honestly. And Miz, what better way to really have to admit that, he thought his diet was back to being, honestly, like back to, probably a no carb diet, no alcohol, no certain things. And so
Maryse tried to fill that man up.
Oh,
she did everything in the book, and he had no clue that any of this was transpiring.
No clue at all.
She thought that, maybe she thought that, this is going to be his last try to tell me that he's actually relieved. He hasn't said anything. So, okay. All right. Let's get some other people involved.
It was good that she actually, because she threw me for a loop, because you're right. She could have brought Bliss and Ryan, honestly, but she brings Whitney. And she includes Whitney in this prank because
Whitney and her husband in the prank. They're like everybody at the table knows what's going on except for Miz. And you saw Miz, how Miz was when it was just like, no. I call him. Like his whole thing, like, switched around. Like he didn't want to be a part. He was denying everything. He was like, no, I'll give him a call. And no, you don't have to do that. None of that stuff. So it's like, I thought you were happy. I thought you were, sad at the fact that you got sent home. So maybe this is your second chance to finally redeem yourself when they, but It is. I mean, hey, it is what it is. Joseph said Maryse is such a troll, which she is. Who would have thought this would be her way of saying to Mike, "Open up about your feelings," or was that she was pissed she had to make all that food for him to eat? Well,
at the end of the day, he got the being full of shit award.
he did,
and all he had to say was "my bad" for wanting to be appreciated, wanting to feel.
I want to be appreciated.
Feeling like he. I mean, honestly, I have to play devil's advocate.
Oh Lord.
I don't blame him for 1 minute. Honestly, I really don't. I probably, depending on the outcome, if my spouse was cooking me all this amazing food and my mom was feeling bad too, like, I mean, I know that probably, I'm going to be honest, I feel like he felt bad more about his mom than actually Maryse, because Maryse was catering to him. And I'm almost certain that she's probably done the same to him. Honestly, she might have. But overall, like, honestly,
with the business meeting when she went to the spa. But I think the only difference was that
it was more on Barb than Miz. I don't know. I probably would have done the same thing though. Honestly, I would have let it play out as long as it could have played out, because Miz was smart a little bit. He was trying to. I think he was just trying to feel solidified in a sense, and this was the way. Even though she caters to that man 100%, I still think that. I don't know. I probably wouldn't have told Ryan either, to be honest.
If you have a friend that's going to run their mouth that you know runs their mouth, don't tell them, because otherwise all of your business would definitely be out. And Ryan is a snitch. Ryan cannot be trusted.
But isn't Bliss the snitch though? Because honestly, you're supposed to be able to trust your spouse. Like, I know for me, any relationships that I've had before. Any relationships I've had before, there's certain things that I have, told my partner, and I wouldn't expect it to be like Miz says, this is a circle of trust, this is the middle, and this is Ryan.
The circle of loyalty, and Ryan is over here.
And it really, honestly, Bliss kind of got thrown in the mix.
She did. Maybe she thought Maryse knew.
She blindly snitched, and I think she did probably think that
Maryse knew. She probably thought she knew. That's why she brought it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, if Miz had told Maryse that he was relieved that he was done, there wouldn't have been no circle of friends, and then Ryan is over here, and then Alexa, he goes to her.
But then there wouldn't have been no pancakes.
He probably would have got pancakes still. We don't know what the outcome would have been.
Probably. But we wouldn't have got a good prank. At least we got a good prank out of it. At least.
Yeah, we probably
just like that time. Just like that time, Maryse decides to prank Gail Kim, and Gail Kim actually pranks her because Maryse was talking shit in French the whole time to Gail, and then Gail ends up actually knowing French, and that was a pretty funny moment. But I don't know. Overall, I think that Miz probably learned his lesson with confiding in Ryan when it comes to if he's trying to.
He knows Ryan. He should know this is like your best guy. You know what I'm saying? You should know that he can't hold anything at all. You should know that. If that is your friend, and this is the friend that you know tells everything, like can't hold everything, then you know that you cannot confide in him. Not at all.
I know, because I mean, honestly, when he told him that, I don't think for 1 minute he was like, "Oh, he's gonna go back." Because I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know that Maryse and Bliss were, you know, that close. And so, of course, getting the engagement party invite, I don't think that Ryan was under the impression that Bliss would actually like spill the beans.
Well, I don't think Miz was under the impression that Ryan would go tell Bliss.
Now come on now. You gotta know that they were gonna talk. I know.
He could have said, no, he could have, if Bliss would have asked him, like, I know you went to hang out with me. It's like, how is he? He's like, oh man, he's not doing too well or something like that. Like, he's just like, he's not doing too well.
Yeah.
None of this is any of these people's fault except for Miz. If he did not go around moping around and shit, he wouldn't have this problem that he's in. I blame Miz. This is all his fault.
I blame Twisted. I blame. You know what? No, I blame Lily.
What you gonna blame Lily for?
Because it's Lily's fault.
How is it Lily's fault?
Because I think if Bliss was probably not in her right mind.
All right. Okay. See, listen. Okay. We're not gonna do that.
I'm defending a Libra.
You can defend whatever the hell you want to. That is a liar. Okay. That man had one job, and that was to tell Maryse what was going on. He chose not to do so because he was enjoying his treatment. That treatment isn't going to last too long when you're a liar. And you have a loudmouth friend.
He tried to, but I think he was distracted by that teacher's outfit. I ain't gonna lie.
Well,
I mean,
he was winning. I mean, he's winning right now. I mean, she did what he could to help him, cheer up.
She was trying.
When he had the opportunity to go in and tell her, I think he didn't want to mess this up. Because he probably would never got anything.
I can see that. I think he still would have
he should have told her after the fact.
Yeah, and he should not have let it get from Ryan to Bliss and now. I mean, and Joseph says, well, according to the episode preview for next week, Miz gets on Mike's case. Maryse gets on Mike's case this time because she tries to schedule a one-night vacation, but he gets an important call about his fantasy football team. And we do see him running the bath water, putting her in the bath. She wanted to take a trip. I'm all down for a trip for celebration. But he has to. This man is digging himself in further and further.
These men love their fantasy footballs. I'll tell you that much. They
You have some women out there that do too. You have a lot of people who are very competitive.
Fantasy football, DraftKings, all of that stuff. But I mean, your wife wants to spend time for you, but you're more focused on this deal that you have the point where you leave her in the bathtub by herself, where you go down there to the computer. I hope that as he submitted what he had to submit, that it went through and that he's like good to go. But I'm pretty sure Maryse is going to find out again as to what the hell is going on.
And I think this time she's probably going to find out on her own. Honestly,
she's definitely got at the tub, and she's gonna come find him.
I hope that it was worth it, honestly, and I cannot wait, honestly, to see next week's episode. I didn't realize, like I said, I would watch the show, and I, just because it was on, but I really didn't realize how good this show was. I also didn't realize, and I've shared this with you. I didn't realize how big of a fan I was of Miz until they did like the 24 or the Chronicle, and I'm sitting on my couch and I'm busting out in tears because this man has really he's come a long way, and to see their marriage and to see their growth and just to see everything, honestly, it's really gone full circle. And like I said, one of my favorite moments tonight was honestly the family, the way they are so connected. I know we started off this season with a little bickering, trying to figure out everything. But honestly, to see tonight's episode and for him to redo the package with his mom and everything just shows, just sincerity in everything that she's brought to his career, and also everything that Maryse has brought to him as well. And even though he didn't want to be, it's crazy because we saw such a vulnerable Miz last week, and this week we kind of see him not wanting to admit. I'm curious because it went through my mind while I was watching the show. I'm like, I wonder why he didn't want to admit it. Was it really the treatment, or was it just that he didn't want to make it seem like he wasn't grateful?
Yeah.
Because as competitive as he is, I know I can speak to this nature too. Sometimes our health and our pain in our feet that he talks about, and just wanting to be released from certain things, taking that L sometimes is honestly a win.
Yeah.
And we saw this was a conflict of him. He went from avoidance to, really trying to figure out a compromise, and then we really find a mutual ground, honestly. Any last thoughts on this episode?
I mean, I thought it was really good. I've been watching, Miz and Mrs. since like season 1, and since then, I love their show. Like their show is great. I mean, of course, they have their their issues and stuff like that, but it's a really really fun show. Like every week, it gets better and better. I feel like they have one of the best shows outside of the wrestling, community wise. Like they really do have one of the best shows ever. Like as far as like couples wise, like I never knew that they would really have like their show would be as good as it is. Like I never thought I thought maybe we would just got like one season and then that's it. But then we got season 2, 3. Now 3, maybe we're going to season 4. Like what else can be done? How does it get bigger? How does it get better? I thoroughly enjoy their show. I'm excited to see what the next few episodes are going to be like and how they're going to close it out. And then maybe prepare and get renewed for season 4 because it's really good. It's great to talk about the show too. On here on Women's Wrestling Talk, kind of stepping outside of just discussing wrestling and really just watching these reality TV shows, because I do like watching reality TV shows. I think even though it's it's considered to be scripted or whatever, but I thoroughly still enjoy it for the entertainment, just to have something to talk about. So hopefully, somewhere now in the future we'll have more wrestlers doing their own reality TV shows and stuff like that, and maybe you'll see the Salt Shakkas covered, depending on who we like. Honestly,
that's a good one.
Got to see that the Bellas come out.
I don't see them ever doing a show. I think that with them, I think they're focused more so on their podcast, which I listen to, and it's really good. It's very open. It's good to see wrestlers in a different light. But before we go through everything that, our schedule and everything like we normally do, I do have a very special surprise. We've been talking about divas, right? Maryse herself is a former Divas champion, along with Nikki Bella as well. And when it was hard to kill, I actually met the real belt collector, and we started to draft something up really, really cool and really, really sick. And I'm on the road right now of gaining every single title that Charlotte Flair ever held. My first championship title was the NXT Women's Championship. And now, you guys, I'm very excited to announce and reveal my very own Divas Championship with my name on it, something that Maryse herself has held. Take a look at the plates as well. Yeah, I waited a long time for this. Not as heavy as I thought it was going to be, honestly. Not as heavy as my NXT Women's Championship either. But if you guys remember, Charlotte Flair retired. I'm going to say it one more time. Retired this championship. And she also embarked on a new women's evolution. Now, I know a lot of people would agree that the women's evolution definitely started way back when we had Beth Phoenix, who held this title, Melina's, the Michelle McCool's, even with the Bella Twins, Paige, Emma, who is also known now as Tennille Dashwood. So I'm very excited to be revealing this championship. It was included today for Title Tuesday, hashtag Title Tuesday, King Coley. I decided to post it. And yeah, I'm super excited to share this with you guys. If you want to see more, I'll be posting more of it on my personal page as well. But I'm very, very excited to add this to the arsenal. The Real Belt Collector, also known as Brandon, also made a hardcore women's title for one of our writers, Mika, as well. And they did a big reveal. I wanted to do something a little different. I wanted to make the reveal here on Women's Wrestling Talk because I think it's just a little more special, especially for me because I used to give the Divas a lot of crap. It's actually, to be honest, one of the reasons why I fell off of wrestling for a long time. But I went back and I actually just recently finished Total Divas, all of the seasons, and I'm actually embarking on Total Bellas. I'm going to be starting that pretty soon. So just wanted to reveal this to you guys, and very excited to have this title with me. The Salt Shakers will be purchasing our first tag team titles here very soon. And by the end of the year, I plan to have 5 titles. Okay. So let's just hope on that. But with that being said, thank you guys for joining us tonight. Maryse herself is a former Divas champion. So I thought it would be right to reveal it on, a show like this because, of course, the Divas era is retired. I don't have to say that again. I'm really happy, to be honest. But with that being said, it is now Wednesday. So later on in the day, you will catch the Dynamite Dolls here on Women's Wrestling Talk, breaking down all of the chaos. The take-home episode to Forbidden Door. We have a match with Toni Storm and Marina that will be taking place tonight as well. So Mika and Al, the Dynamite Dolls, will be breaking down all of that. On Thursday, don't forget, NXT UK and NXT will be breaking down with a recap with Katrina and Stephanie. And then later that night, we will be the Salt Shakers, of course, will return to Impact Wrestling, and we'll be breaking down all of the action that I actually got to see live on Monday during the tapings. We'll give you an update on the Creep Squad. We're not sure when they're going to have another episode, but you should see them soon. Also, Friday night, of course, SmackDown and Rampage will be broken down and discussed with Stephanie and Santana. And then join us Saturday in the early time as they break down everything, all things indies with Mika, Emily, and Katrina. And then, of course, Turnbuckle Glam returns on Sunday with, of course, the Salt Shakers. And then the Dynamite Dolls as well. Now, I know we've been in talks of possibly having a Forbidden Door post show. Unfortunately, it's not happening, guys. I'm sorry.
I mean, it could happen, but maybe not with the Salt Shakers.
Maybe not with the Salt Shakers. I know I personally won't be there. If Santana decides to do the post show, you might check her out with another host, whoever decides to jump in. I personally, I just, y'all, I don't know. They didn't do they're doing Thunder Rosa and Tony Storm. That's not Forbidden Door. That's just a women's match that they've just thrown on there so they won't get any heat, from my opinion, honestly. I just think that they're throwing just a match on there just to say that they had a women's match. I think that they could have done so much more. They could have included other promotions, even though this is just New Japan and AEW. I think it could have been done differently. But with that being said, you can check the Salt Shakers out. We will return on Monday for the post show for Monday Night Raw. Of course, that will be our take home episode for Money in the Bank. So make sure you check that out. And then, of course, we'll be doing a Money in the Bank post show following after the show about 11:30. So make sure you check that out as well. But we want to thank you guys, of course, for staying late with us and, always rocking with the best, of course. Santana, is there anything you want to say before we get out of here?
It's still Pride Month. We may have some more articles drop within this week. Going into next week as we close things out. Next month is Santana Appreciation Month. So, you gotta come to the Money in the Bank post show to know what happens next. In regards to the Salt Shakers.
No, not the Salt Shakers. Santana.
No, the Salt Shakers, because they won't.
No, the one half of the Salt Shakers.
No, what I'm saying is they won't see us together.
Oh yeah, they won't see us together.
Who knows? Who knows how long? But it is what it is. We'll find out why on July 2nd.
I hope y'all are ready, because it's about to get interesting. I think I'm about to be on my Tasha Steeles for a while and let Santana go take a sabbatical on AEW for a minute. But either way, I will be here. And Santana will be here in spirit, and you might actually get a surprise. Mm-hmm. Not what I want, not what I'm asking for. I'm still renegotiating my contract right now. This is some Sasha Banks and Naomi shit going on right now.
It is right now.
But I'm currently. We in the talks and figuring everything out. As we get closer, you guys will figure out what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. It's not anything drastic. The Salt Shakers aren't breaking up, child. We're not splitting. Maybe. Did you say maybe? Not you get the big feature. Not you get the solo features on all the platforms, and now you want to go solo. Be sure to check out Santana's work. It's been featured on the Wrestling Classic this week, along with some other Beyond the Count, the Wrestling Takeover. So make sure you check out. And Mia Yim also posted Santana's picture today as well. And so make sure you check that out. I've been taken off of certain promotions. So you won't see me on you'll see Santana. You won't see me. So with that being said, you guys, make sure you tune in to all of our hosts. Check out the stuff that Stephanie and Katrina both posted from Blackfest as well. And be sure to tune in. We are live. If you don't know, we are live exclusively on Twitch. You'll get everything else on every other platform a day later or days later, but we are exclusively live on Twitch. So if you're not following, make sure you follow and subscribe, and also follow other platforms as well. Okay. We can't thank you enough, please. And shout out to, I just really want to shout out to all of the knockouts from Tasha Steeles, Deanna, Mia Yim, Taya Valkyrie, Chelsea Green, everyone who has been liking and posting and sharing all of our stuff. and we really appreciate it. So thank you for the love and support. Of course, you've been rocking with the best here on Women's Wrestling Talk. Of course, the number one women's wrestling show on the planet. Okay? Until next time, you guys, be easy.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the number one women's wrestling show on the planet. Women's Wrestling Talk, the number one women's wrestling show on the planet.